I remember the exact sound the paper made when it slid across the table. A soft, dry whisper, like something ending quietly before anyone notices it's gone. We were sitting in our usual corner at the restaurant. Same table we'd claimed for years. Same dim lighting that made everything feel warmer than it really was. Same waitress who smiled like she knew our story. Only tonight, something felt off. Emily didn't look at me when she pushed the paper forward. "Don't freak out," she said casually, reaching for her wine. "It's just a prank." A prank? That word echoed in my head like it didn't belong in the moment. I frowned, half smiling, waiting for her to laugh, waiting for her to say she was joking before I even looked down. She didn't. So I did. Divorce papers. My name printed neatly, hers too, dates, legal language. Signatures, hers already written in confident, looping cursive like she'd practiced it. For a second, my brain refused to process what my eyes were seeing. Then I let out a small laugh. "Okay," I said, shaking my head. "You got me. What is this, some TikTok thing?" She smirked, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Relax," she said. "It's fake. I just wanted to see your reaction." My fingers rested on the edge of the paper, but I didn't pick it up yet. "Why?" I asked. She shrugged like it didn't matter. "Content. Everyone's doing relationship pranks now. It's harmless." Harmless? I finally looked up at her properly. Same face I'd memorized over 8 years. Same lips I'd kissed goodbye every morning. Same woman I thought I knew better than anyone. But something was different. There was a distance in her eyes, like she was watching me instead of being with me. "Emily," I said slowly, "this isn't funny." "Oh, come on," she rolled her eyes. "Don't be dramatic." Dramatic? That word landed heavier than it should have. Because suddenly, I wasn't just looking at a piece of paper anymore. I was remembering things. The late nights. The way she started guarding her phone. The unexplained girls' trips that came out of nowhere. The way conversations between us had turned into short, distracted replies. I swallowed, forcing a smile that didn't feel real. "Yeah," I said quietly, "I guess it's just a prank." She leaned back, satisfied, sipping her wine like she'd just won something. "See, I knew you'd handle it." Handle it? My thumb traced over her signature again. It didn't look rushed. It didn't look like a joke. It looked prepared. That's when something inside me shifted. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just quietly. Like a door closing. "Pass me the pen," I said. She blinked, surprised. "What?" "The pen," I repeated calmly. She laughed. "Why, you gonna play along now?" Something like that. Still smiling, she reached into her purse and tossed a sleek black pen onto the table. "All right," she said, amused. "Let's see how far you take it." I picked it up slowly. It felt heavier than it should have. For a brief second, I hesitated. Not because I didn't know what I was doing, but because I remembered everything. The first apartment we could barely afford. The nights we ate instant noodles on the floor because we didn't have furniture yet. The way she used to hold my hand like she was afraid I'd disappear. The promises. God, the promises. "Forever," she had said once, her head resting on my chest. I used to believe that word meant something. Now it felt like a line from a script. I looked up at her one last time. She was watching me like this was entertainment. Like I was part of her little social experiment. Waiting for a reaction. A breakdown. A laugh. Something she could post later with a caption and a trending sound. Instead, I signed. My name. Clean, steady, no hesitation. The pen moved smoothly across the paper, sealing something I don't think she ever thought I'd actually agree to. When I was done, I placed the pen down gently. The sound it made against the table was louder than it should have been. Emily didn't react at first. She just stared at the signature. Then she laughed. "Okay, wow," she said. "You really committed to the bit." I didn't smile. "This isn't a bit." Her laughter faded slightly. "What?" I slid the papers back toward her. "You wanted a reaction," I said calmly. "That's mine." Her brows furrowed. "Wait, hold on. Are you serious right now?" I leaned back in my chair, mirroring her earlier posture. Composed, distant. Yes. No, you're not, she said quickly, shaking her head. Stop, this is getting weird. Weird? I almost laughed at that. What's weird, I said quietly, is bringing divorce papers to dinner and calling it a joke. I told you it's fake. Then it shouldn't matter that I signed it. That hit her. I saw it in the way her fingers tightened around her glass. You're overreacting, she snapped. It's not that deep. Not that deep. I nodded slowly. 8 years, I said, and this is what you think is funny. She opened her mouth, then closed it. For the first time that night. She looked unsure. Why are you acting like this? She asked, her voice softer now. It was just a prank. I leaned forward slightly. Is it? I asked. Her eyes flickered. And in that split second, I knew. There it was. The crack in the story. You already signed it, I said quietly, tapping the paper. She froze. I was going to talk to you about it, she said quickly, just not like this. After the prank video, I asked. No, that's not. After you figured out how to make it look less bad, I cut in. Her silence answered me. The noise of the restaurant faded into the background. Clinking glasses, soft music, people laughing. All of it felt distant. Like I was sitting in a completely different world. Who is he? I asked. Her head snapped up. What? Don't, I said calmly. Don't lie to me right now. I'm not. Emily. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. She looked at me. Really looked this time. And whatever she saw in my face. It made her stop. Her shoulders dropped slightly. And that's when she said it. I didn't plan for you to find out like this. A sharp, bitter smile tugged at my lips. So there is someone. She looked down at the table. Didn't answer. Didn't deny it. That was enough. Something inside me, whatever was left of hope, finally snapped. Clean. Silent. Permanent. I exhaled slowly, nodding to myself. Okay, I said. Just one word. But it carried everything. I stood up, reaching for my jacket. Wait, she said quickly, panic creeping into her voice. Where are you going? I looked at her one last time. At the woman I thought I'd spend my life with. At the stranger sitting across from me now. Out, I said simply. You can't just leave like this. I paused, then leaned slightly closer, my voice low and steady. You already did. And with that, I walked away. Leaving the papers. Leaving the table. Leaving her. And for the first time in a long time. I didn't look back. The cold air hit me the second I stepped outside. Sharp, real, honest. Unlike everything that had just happened inside. I stood there for a moment on the sidewalk, staring at nothing in particular, letting the noise of the city wrap around me, cars passing, distant sirens, people laughing somewhere down the block. Normal life. Meanwhile, mine had just quietly collapsed over dinner. I slipped my hands into my jacket pockets and started walking. No destination, no plan. Just forward. Because standing still felt like I might break. My phone buzzed. Once. Twice. 3 times. I already knew who it was. Emily. I didn't check it. Didn't need to. For 8 years, I had been the one who answered every call, replied to every message, showed up every time she needed me. Tonight, I let it ring. The buzzing stopped. Then started again. Persistent. Of course it was. Emily didn't like losing control. I pulled my phone out, stared at the screen. Emily calling. For a second, my thumb hovered over the answer button. Old habits. Then I flipped the phone face down in my hand and kept walking. No answer. Not tonight. A few blocks later, I found myself outside our apartment building. Hours. That word felt strange now. Like it didn't belong to me anymore. The lights were on in the living room window. Warm, familiar. Fake. I let out a slow breath and headed inside. The hallway smelled the same, cleaning chemicals and cheap air freshener. Nothing had changed. Except everything had. When I opened the door, silence greeted me. Heavy silence. The kind that presses against your chest. I stepped in slowly, closing the door behind me. Keys dropped onto the counter. Jacket tossed over the chair. Routine. Muscle memory. My eyes scanned the room. Her blanket on the couch. Her coffee mug on the table. Her shoes by the door. Traces of a life that suddenly felt like evidence. I walked over to the kitchen counter, and that's when I saw it. Her second phone. The one she said was just for work. Screen lit up. A notification. I shouldn't have looked. I knew that. But something inside me, the part that had already accepted the truth, didn't stop me. I picked it up. Unlocked. Of course it was. A message popped up. Did he sign it? My jaw tightened. Another message followed. You said tonight was the night. My chest felt hollow. Not even angry yet. Just empty. I scrolled up. I don't know why I did it. Maybe I needed to see how far it went. Maybe I needed to kill whatever hope was still stupid enough to exist. Pictures. Conversations. Plans. Weeks no. Months. Hotel reservations. Inside jokes that weren't mine anymore. And then, a photo. Of her. Smiling. Leaning into another man. His arm around her waist. Comfortable. Familiar. Like I used to be. I stared at it longer than I should have. Trying to feel something. Rage, pain, anything. But all I felt was clarity. Like everything finally made sense. The late nights. The distance. The prank. It wasn't a joke. It was a test. And I had just passed it. I placed the phone back exactly where it was. Carefully. Like it might explode if I didn't. Then I leaned against the counter, closing my eyes. 8 years. Reduced to screenshots and lies. My phone buzzed again. This time I checked it. Emily. Please pick up. This got out of hand. We need to talk. I'm coming home. I let out a quiet laugh. Of course she was. Damage control. I pushed myself off the counter and walked into the bedroom. Opened the closet. Stared at my side. Clothes neatly hung. Organized. Predictable. Just like I'd always been. I grabbed a duffel bag from the top shelf and tossed it onto the bed. Zipper echoed in the quiet room. Then I started packing. Not everything. Just enough. Essentials. The things that were actually mine. Each item I picked up felt like a small decision. Stay. Leave. Stay. Leave. By the time the bag was half full, I already knew. I was leaving. Not because I couldn't stay. But because I shouldn't. There's a difference. The sound of keys at the door stopped me. She was back. Sooner than I expected. The door opened. Closed. Hello, her voice called out, slightly breathless. No answer. My silence answered for me. Footsteps. Vast. Then she appeared in the doorway. Her eyes immediately landed on the bag. And everything changed. What are you doing? She asked quietly. I didn't look at her. Packing. For what? I zipped a compartment calm. To leave. The word hit her like a slap. No, she said quickly, stepping into the room. No, stop, you're not leaving over this. Over this. I finally looked up. Over what, Emily? She hesitated. That tonight's the prank. It went too far, I get it, but... Stop calling it that. My voice was still calm. But sharper now. She froze. You think I didn't see the messages, I said. Her face drained of color. Silence. Loud, crushing silence. I saw everything, I continued. The phone, the guy, the plans. Her lips parted, but no words came out. Say something, I said. She swallowed. I was going to tell you. I nodded slowly. Yeah, you said that already. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I let out a small, humorless laugh. When was it supposed to happen, Emily? I asked. After you moved in with him, or after you got bored of him too? That's not fair. Fair, I repeated. You want to talk about fair? My voice didn't raise. But the weight behind it made her step back slightly. I gave you everything, I said. Everything I had. I know. No, you don't, I cut in. Because if you did, we wouldn't be standing here. Tears started forming in her eyes. Too late. Way too late. It didn't mean anything, she said desperately. It was just. Don't, I said sharply. She stopped. Don't insult me like that. Silence again. Thick, suffocating. I picked up the bag and zipped it shut completely. The sound felt final. Who is he? I asked again. This time, she answered. His name is Ryan. Ryan. Just a name. But it carried enough weight to confirm everything. How long? I asked. She looked down. A few months. Months. I nodded slowly. While we were still us. She didn't respond. Didn't need to. I adjusted the strap of my bag over my shoulder. Where are you going? She asked, her voice breaking now. I walked past her. Toward the door. Somewhere that doesn't look like a lie. Please, she said, grabbing my arm. I stopped. Looked down at her hand. Then at her. Don't do this, she whispered. We can fix it. Fix it. I gently pulled my arm free. You don't fix something by replacing it, I said. Her tears finally fell. I made a mistake. I shook my head. Mistakes happen once, I said quietly. This was a choice, repeatedly. That broke her. I could see it. But something inside me had already gone numb. I opened the door. Stepped out. Wait, she called. I paused, but didn't turn around. What if I end it? She said quickly. With him, right now, I'll do it, I swear. For a moment, just a moment. Silence. Then I spoke. You already did end something, I said. And this time, I walked away for real. The elevator ride down felt longer than it ever had before. Every floor number blinking slowly, like it was giving me time to change my mind. 10. 9. 8. I leaned back against the cold metal wall, duffel bag hanging from my shoulder, staring at my reflection in the mirrored panel. I didn't recognize the guy looking back. Not completely. He looked calmer. That was the strange part. Not broken, not furious. Just done. 5. 4. My phone buzzed again. I didn't even check it this time. I already knew what it would be. Apologies, panic, promises. Too late. The elevator doors opened with a soft ding, and I stepped out into the parking garage. The air smelled like oil and concrete. Grounded, real. Unlike everything upstairs. I walked to my car, tossed the bag into the backseat, and slid into the driver's seat. For a moment, I just sat there. Hands on the wheel. Engine off. Silence. Then I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Okay, I muttered to myself. It wasn't confidence. It was acceptance. I started the engine. And drove. I didn't go far. Just far enough. A cheap motel on the edge of the city. One of those places you pass 100 times and never think you'll actually stay in. Tonight, it was perfect. No memories. No history. No her. The neon sign flickered as I pulled in. Vacancy. Of course. I grabbed my bag, checked in without saying much, and made my way to the room. Room 27. The key stuck for a second before the door finally opened with a dull click. Inside, it was exactly what I expected. Plain bed, small TV, a chair that looked older than me. No warmth. No comfort. Just space. I dropped the bag on the floor and sat on the edge of the bed. And for the first time all night, everything caught up. The silence wasn't just quiet anymore. It was loud. My chest tightened. Not from anger, but from something heavier. Grief. 8 years doesn't disappear cleanly. It lingers. In habits. In memories. In the way your mind still reaches for someone who's no longer there. I rubbed my face, exhaling slowly. "Get it together," I whispered. But my voice didn't sound convincing. I lay back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. And that's when the memories hit harder. Not the bad ones. The good ones. Because those hurt more. Her laugh echoing in the car on long drives. The way she used to fall asleep halfway through movies, her head on my shoulder. The little notes she'd leave on the fridge. The version of her that felt real. Or maybe the version I wanted to believe was real. My phone buzzed again. And again. And again. I finally picked it up. Dozens of messages. Missed calls. All from Emily. But there was something new. A voicemail. I hesitated. Then pressed play. Her voice came through shaky, crying. "Please just listen to me," she said. "I know I messed up. I know it looks bad, but it's not what you think. Ryan, he doesn't mean anything. It was just, I don't even know why I did it." I closed my eyes. Same words. Different tone. "It got out of control," she continued, "and I didn't know how to stop it, but I can fix this. I will fix this. Just come back, please." The message ended. Silence filled the room again. I stared at the phone for a long moment. Then locked it. Placed it face down on the nightstand. No reply. Because deep down, I knew something she didn't. Some things don't get fixed. Morning came slower than usual. Or maybe I just didn't sleep enough to notice time passing. I sat up, rubbing the back of my neck, the stiff motel pillow not doing me any favors. For a second, I forgot where I was. Then it all came back. Like a wave hitting all at once. I reached for my phone. No new messages. That was new. Emily wasn't the type to give up that easily. Which meant one thing. She had changed strategy. I got up, grabbed a quick shower, threw on clean clothes, and stepped outside. The air felt different in the morning. Less heavy. Like the world didn't care what had happened last night. And maybe that was a good thing. I got into my car, started it, and just sat there again. Same question. Now what? I didn't have a plan. Didn't need one yet. But I did need distance. From her. From everything. My phone buzzed. New number. I frowned slightly, then answered. "Hello." There was a pause. Then a male voice. Calm, confident. "Hey, is this Daniel?" My grip on the phone tightened. "Who's asking?" Another pause. Then, "It's Ryan." Of course it was. I let out a quiet breath through my nose. Timing. Perfect. "What do you want?" I asked, my tone flat. "I think we should talk," he said. I almost laughed. About what? About Emily. I leaned back in my seat, staring through the windshield. "You mean my wife," I said. Silence. Then, "Look, man, I didn't call to make things worse." "Then you shouldn't have called at all. I didn't know about you at first." There it was. The classic line. I shook my head slightly. "Save it." "I'm serious," he continued. "She told me you guys were basically done." I let out a short, humorless laugh. "Yeah, she seems to be good at telling different versions of the truth." "I figured that out," he said quietly. That made me pause. "What's that supposed to mean?" I asked. Another breath on the other end. "She lied to me too." Now that was interesting. I straightened slightly. "Explain." "She said you were controlling," Ryan said. "Said you didn't treat her right, that she was stuck." My jaw tightened. "Of course she did." "I wanted to believe her," he continued, "but something didn't add up." "And now it does?" I asked. "Yeah." Silence settled between us for a moment. Then he spoke again. "She was supposed to meet me last night," he said, "after dinner with you." My grip on the phone tightened again. But she didn't show. I said nothing. Then this morning, he continued, she calls me crying, saying everything fell apart. I exhaled slowly. Pieces clicking into place. She told me you signed the papers, he added. I leaned my head back against the seat. Yeah, I said quietly, I did. Another pause. Then Ryan spoke again, his tone different this time. More serious. There's something else you should know. I frowned slightly. What? A beat. Then. She's not done. My eyes narrowed. What does that mean? It means you're not the only one she's playing. That sentence hung in the air. Heavy. Unsettling. Say it clearly, I said. Ryan hesitated. Then dropped it. She's been talking to someone else too. For a moment, I thought I heard him wrong. She's been talking to someone else too. The words didn't land all at once. They sank in slowly, like a crack spreading through glass. I let out a quiet breath, staring straight ahead at nothing. Say that again, I said. Ryan didn't hesitate this time. There's another guy. A hollow laugh escaped me. Of course there was. Do you know him? I asked. No, Ryan said, but I've seen messages, names, notifications popping up when she was with me. With you, I repeated. Yeah. The irony almost made me smile. Almost. So let me get this straight, I said, my voice steady. She told you I was the problem while she was seeing you. And someone else, he finished. Silence. Then I nodded to myself. Sounds about right. You don't seem surprised, he said. I'm past surprised. That was the truth. There's a point where things stop shocking you and just start confirming what you already feel. And why are you telling me this? I asked. Another pause. Then, because I ended it, Ryan said. That caught my attention. You what? I'm not staying in something like that, he continued. I didn't sign up to be part of a rotation. A rotation. The word hit harder than it should have. Cold, accurate. And you think I should care? I asked. I think you deserve to know who you were dealing with. I let out a slow breath. I already do. There was a moment of silence between us. Not tense. Just done. You're not calling her back, are you? He asked. No. Good. That was it. No drama, no threats. Just clarity. I'm out, he added. You should be too. I already am. Another pause. Then, take care of yourself, man. The line went dead. I lowered the phone slowly. And for a long moment, I just sat there, processing. Not the betrayal. Not anymore. That part was already settled. This was something else. Understanding. Emily didn't just make a mistake. She didn't just fall into something. She created a pattern. A system. One where everyone played a role. Except no one knew the full script. Except her. I let out a quiet breath and started the car. Time to finish this. When I pulled up to the apartment building again, it felt smaller. Like something about it had shrunk overnight. Or maybe I just saw it differently now. I grabbed my bag from the back seat and headed inside. No hesitation this time. No second thoughts. The hallway felt the same. But I didn't. I unlocked the door and stepped in. She was there, sitting on the couch, exactly where I expected her to be. Like she hadn't moved all night. Her eyes snapped up the second she saw me. Relief flooded her face. Daniel, she whispered, standing up quickly. Thank God. Stop, I said calmly. She froze. Not because I raised my voice, but because of how little emotion was in it. I'm not here to talk, I continued. I'm here to finish this. Her expression shifted. Confusion, fear. What do you mean? I walked past her, heading straight for the bedroom. To get the rest of my things. No, she said quickly, following me. No, you're not leaving like this. We need to talk. We already did. That wasn't a real conversation. I turned to face her. Yes, it was. She shook her head, tears already forming again. You're just running away. I stared at her for a second, then nodded slightly. Yeah, I said, from a lie. That shut her up for a moment. I turned back to the closet and started pulling out more clothes. Folding them, packing them. Efficient, detached. Like I was helping a stranger move out. Please, she said softly behind me, just listen to me once. I didn't stop. I ended it, she said quickly. With Ryan, it's done. I know, I replied. She blinked. What? He told me. That hit her. Hard. You talked to him, she asked, panic creeping back in. Yeah. What did he say? I zipped another section of the bag. Enough. Her breathing quickened. Daniel, I can explain everything. I finally looked at her again. Go ahead. She hesitated. And in that hesitation, everything was exposed. Because when the truth is simple, you don't need time to build it. I messed up, she said. I got attention and I didn't stop it, but it didn't mean anything. I tilted my head slightly. Which one? What? Which one didn't mean anything? I asked. Ryan or the other guy? Her face went completely still. Color drained instantly. You didn't think I knew about that one? I asked quietly. Silence. Pure silence. That was her answer. I let out a slow breath. 3 people, Emily. The words landed like weight. 3 different versions of you, I continued. 3 different stories. Tears streamed down her face now. It's not like that, she whispered. It is exactly like that. No, it just got out of control. No, I cut in. You were in control the whole time. That broke her composure completely. I didn't mean to hurt you, she cried. I stopped packing. Turned to face her fully. And yet, I said calmly, you did, repeatedly. She shook her head, stepping closer. I can fix this, she said desperately. I'll change, I swear, I'll cut everyone off, I'll prove it to you. I studied her for a moment. Really studied her. Looking for something real. Something worth holding on to. But all I saw was fear. Not love. Fear of losing control. Fear of being alone. And that's when I understood the final piece. She wasn't fighting for me. She was fighting to not lose everything at once. There's nothing left to fix, I said quietly. Her expression shattered. Yes, there is, we still have us. I shook my head slowly. No, I said, we don't. She grabbed my shirt, her hands trembling. Don't say that, she begged. Don't throw us away. I gently removed her hands. I'm not throwing anything away, I said. I'm leaving what's already broken. Her knees seemed to weaken slightly. She stepped back, shaking her head in disbelief. You're just giving up, she whispered. I picked up my bag. No, I said, I'm choosing myself. Silence filled the room again. Heavy. Final. As I walked toward the door, she didn't follow this time. Didn't try to stop me. Maybe because she finally understood. Or maybe because she ran out of things to say. My hand rested on the doorknob. And for a split second, I thought about everything again. 8 years. Memories. Promises. What we were. Then I opened the door. And stepped out. But just before I closed it behind me, her voice came one last time. Soft. Broken. Was it ever real for you? I paused. Just for a second. Then answered without turning around. It was, I said. A beat. That's why this hurts. And then, I closed the door clicked shut behind me. And just like that, 8 years of my life ended with a sound so small, it almost felt insulting. No dramatic music. No final embrace. No last-minute confession that changed everything. Just silence. The first few days were the hardest. Not because I missed her, but because I missed the version of life I thought I had. Routine doesn't disappear overnight. Your mind still reaches for it. I'd wake up expecting to hear her in the kitchen. Check my phone like there should be a good morning text. Catch myself thinking, I should tell Emily about this. Then remember, there is no Emily anymore. Not the one I knew. I moved into a small place across town. Nothing special. One bedroom, bare walls, minimal furniture. But it was mine. And for the first time in a long time, that actually meant something. No lies in the air. No hidden conversations behind locked screens. Just quiet. Real, honest quiet. At first, it felt empty. Then slowly, it started to feel peaceful. Weeks passed. Then a month. I stopped checking her messages. Stopped replaying conversations in my head. Stopped asking myself why. Because the truth is, there isn't always a satisfying answer. Some people do betray you because something is broken. They betray you because they are. One evening, I was sitting on my balcony, watching the city lights flicker on one by one. Phone in my hand. A message popped up. Emily. Of course. I stared at it for a long moment. Then opened it. I miss you. Simple. Short. Too late. Another message followed. I made the biggest mistake of my life. Then, he left too. I let out a quiet breath. Not surprised. Not satisfied. Just done. A third message appeared. I lost everything. I leaned back in my chair, staring out at the skyline. Cars moving, people living. The world continuing like nothing happened. And that's when it hit me. She didn't lose everything. She lost control. There's a difference. My phone buzzed again. This time I replied. Not out of emotion. Not out of anger. But for closure. For me. Not for her. My fingers moved slowly across the screen. Then I hit send. Message. You didn't lose everything, Emily. You lost the version of me that loved you unconditionally. And you traded that for temporary attention. I hope it was worth it. I stared at the message for a second. Then muted the conversation. Not blocked. Not deleted. Just silenced. Because she didn't deserve access anymore. But I also didn't need to pretend she never existed. She did. She was part of my story. Just not my ending. A few days later, I ran into her. Of course I did. Same city, same routines. Different lives. She looked different. Not physically. But the energy was gone. The confidence. The control. She saw me first. Froze. Then slowly walked over. Hey, she said softly. I nodded. Hey. Awkward silence settled between us. You look good, she said. I am, I replied. That seemed to hit her harder than anything else. I've been trying to reach you, she added. I know. She stopped, searching for words. I wanted to say I'm sorry, properly. I studied her for a moment. And for the first time, I believed her. Not because she changed, but because she finally understood the cost. I forgive you, I said. Her eyes widened slightly. Really? Yeah. Relief washed over her face. But it didn't last long. Because I followed it with the truth. But I'll never trust you again. That landed exactly how it needed to. Not cruel. Not loud. Just final. Tears filled her eyes again. I don't expect you to, she whispered. Good. At least she learned something. I hope you figure yourself out, I added. And I meant it. Because some people don't need revenge. They become their own consequence. As I walked away, she didn't stop me. Didn't call out. Didn't chase. Because this time, she knew better. Life didn't magically become perfect after that. That's not how real stories work. There were still moments. Random memories. Songs that hit a little too hard. But they didn't break me anymore. They just reminded me of what I survived, of what I walked away from, of what I'll never tolerate again. And one night, months later, I caught myself smiling. For no reason. No memory attached. No past pulling at me. Just present. Peace. That's when I knew. I didn't lose anything that night at the restaurant. I found something. Self-respect. Clarity. Freedom. Because sometimes, the person who walks away isn't the one who loses. It's the one who finally wins. And the pen. The one I used to sign those papers. I kept it. Not as a reminder of her, but as a reminder of me. The moment I stopped begging for love and started choosing myself.